Hello again, everybody. Welcome to Warriors Fastbreak here on HBC TV 25. I'm Justin Barrientos. Thank you for joining us. We'll start out talking women's basketball today with head coach Scott Ballard and a very successful weekend, a sweep at home against Southwest Minnesota State. So let's start out with that game first, because Gabby Dowd had a great game in that one. You guys had a lead, and then it kind of got shrunk at the end of the game. You were able to hang on for the win. Overall, your thoughts on the game against Southwest?
Well, when the weekend was over and we watched film yesterday, we told our team that Friday we survived and Saturday we finished strong. Mm-hmm. Friday's game was Southwest. Preparing for them, we spent a lot of time preparing for them to have their 6'4" shot blocker in there. I think she leads the league in block shots. Mm-hmm. Well, then we find out in the warm-up that she's not dressed out and not going to be playing. And I think some of our players like, oh, yeah, we don't have to deal with shot blocker. And it's like, oh, now we got to deal with 5 guards being out there at one time, which, we hadn't really practiced for that. We had mentioned that sometimes when they go with a small lineup, this is what it would look like and so on. So it really made things more challenging and forced us to play a lineup that we've not used together for very many minutes this year. And I was pleasantly, not surprised, but pleased with how well we were able to play with a different lineup, a different combination of people. Mm-hmm. And I'm basically talking about not playing our fives very much because they didn't have a 5. And so that meant that Taylor, Gabby, and Schaefer played a lot together, and then Lodemeyer. So you're talking about 4 people that play the 3 or 4 spot, and having 3 of them out there together at one time. But it worked out. It worked out well. We, our biggest concern was how are we going to rebound? Well, they didn't have a very big lineup either, so that ended up not being much of a factor. But anytime you play a team like Southwest, who they rely on transition opportunities, they rely on turning you over, and they rely on making a lot of threes. And we did it. They started off the game. I think they hit their first 2. They hit 3 in the first half. But then they missed 10 in a row. Mm-hmm. But no lead is a safe lead, and we were up 10 with 3:15 to go in the game. And when they hit 4 threes, and that lead disappeared in a hurry. And the reason it did was mostly because we had a poor shooting night from the free throw line. It was a big positive that we got there 33 times, mm-hmm. but the negative was that we only made 18 out of 33, and we got away with it that night. And then the next night, we were 15 of 17 and helped finish the game well and prevent any kind of a run. But two different kinds of games against teams that rely a lot on transition points, 3-point shooting, and turning you over.
I want to go back to one of the points that you kind of made about not playing your 5s in the game. And we were trying to figure out why Rachel Novotny hadn't come back in the game. And she had 3 fouls, and I think you had pulled her, and then I don't think she played all that much in the second half. Right. So that was a kind of a strategic move to kind of have more guard play in the second half?
Well, when she played the first half, we felt like even when her and Emma played, they were having some issues knowing how to balance being a help defender and then go out and guard somebody that is either going to dribble drive you or shoot the 3. And so they weren't real comfortable and confident with that, and we felt like they were playing that way. Mm-hmm. And so after Rachel got her 3rd foul early in the 3rd quarter, and we went with Taylor at the 5 instead of Emma and Rachel, then the more minutes that went by that it was working for us, we just stuck with it to finish the game.
And the other point about the Southwest game, there are a lot of fouls that were called in that game. In the first half, there were a lot called on Southwest, and then it kind of shifted in the second half. More were called on you. But
you think so?
I think, yeah, I think at one point there that kind of happened.
Okay.
But Southwest ended up having 4 players foul out of the game,
Yeah.
which was kind of interesting. Does that change the way that you attack them when you realize, hey, some players are in foul trouble here?
No, really the reason they got in foul trouble was twofold. One, their style of play where they're trying to press and trap and steal the ball. That leads to a lot of fouls. And then the second thing was the fact that the second half we did a better job of playing power basketball. We were posting up Taylor and Rachel and Schaefer and Gabby, and we were getting them a lot of touches. And when you get the ball in the paint, either with drives or post-up opportunities, you're usually going to draw some fouls. And so it was an accumulating effect that worked in our favor, with the exception that we didn't shoot very good percentage from the free throw line.
All right, just a couple minutes left, but we want to get in the Sioux Falls game. Your thoughts on Sioux Falls?
I thought we really defended them well, ran them off the three-point line. Our post defense could have been better than what it was that night, but I couldn't ask for us to have done a better job on Kaylee Hummel and Szymanski. I've not seen them be locked up defensively like they were that night, where they couldn't even get attempts. I thought that Kayla Schaefer and Julia Silloway did a remarkable job taking turns on Hummel, limited her to 6 points, and then Emily Keek and Allie did a really good job on Szymanski and Thramer, whoever they played at the point. So, they're not an easy team to defend. They usually have 4 people out there that can shoot the 3, so they try to spread you out, and then they also have some people that are good with dribble penetration. So we had to be very alert, had to talk, communicate well. And I thought we did a good job with that for 40 minutes.
All right, less than a minute to go. This weekend it's at Duluth and St. Cloud. Your thoughts on facing those 2 teams?
Two of the best defensive teams in the North Division. They both came to our place last year and beat us in low-scoring games. We did not score 60 points in either game. They made life very difficult offensively. And, of course, they both are having good years and they're at home. So 2 big challenges for us. I feel like we've got some confidence and momentum going into these 2 games. And I think we're doing a good job of, putting a game plan together. And it'll be a matter of, execution. And I'm confident that we're getting better from week to week. And that showed last weekend, and I expect it to show again this weekend.
All right, we're going to take a break here on Warriors Fast Break. When we come back, Emily Keek will join us right after this.
Kelmus Implement Company is an agricultural equipment dealership. Back in 2016, when HBC brought fiber optics to Altura, we saw a huge benefit in internet speeds over previous providers. With our vendors requiring real-time communications with our inventory and parts books, the internet speed has given us an advantage over our competition. I would recommend HBC's products because HBC has helped Kelmus Implement grow.
Contact HBC about our lightning-fast home and business internet connections today.
And welcome back to Warriors Fast Break here on HBC TV 25. Emily Keek now joins us, and thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
We noticed that you had your finger in a splint here today,
Yeah.
and we didn't realize that this was a game time decision last weekend, whether or not you were going to play. What happened to you, and how were you able to play this weekend?
So our scout team player, Evan, he was guarding me, and I was trying to beat the press breaker, and I was dribbling with my left hand, and he came around and swiped behind me, and I think my hand came back and hit his leg, like my finger went straight on his leg. It's jammed pretty bad, but it's getting better, so that's what happened. And then it was a Friday decision, like if I was going to play or not. We just taped it up extra tight and said it was good to go. So. And
you ended up having
yep.
good to go. You ended up having a really good game on Friday too.
Thank you.
So I mean, Did you even feel it throughout the game, or is it kind of, it's game time, just let's forget about any pain or anything that we feel?
The first and warm-ups, it kind of bothered me a little bit, but then once game time started, I didn't even think about it after that.
All right, we'll get back to more of this season in a minute, but since this is the first time on the show, we always like to go backwards and find out a little bit more about you from high school. You're a multiple sport athlete in high school at Baraboo, and very successful at all of the sports that you played. So how did basketball come to the front that that's what you wanted to do in college?
It was just the sport that I loved the most. It was clear. I had the most fun with it. Like, just going to shoot with my dad in the gyms was fun compared to just like going out on the track and running sprints, I guess. So I fell in love with it and ran with it. So. All
right. I want to ask you a little bit about how you play point guard, because one of the things that we've noticed over the games is your incredible speed up and down the court and being able to find holes in the lane and driving to the basket. What goes through your mind at point guard when you're watching defenses and you have that second gear, third gear that you can get into and go down the lane? What's the thought process for you?
Well, it depends also if like the person that's guarding me is sagging or if she's up on me tight. Like if she's up on me tight, then coaches tell me take one dribble and just go right by her. But if they're sagging, I gotta attack it differently. But in transition, that's a different story. I just gotta get the ball and go, they said, and just find a way to get into the lane to start our offense.
All right, you have a great position here because Allie Pickering had a great freshman year and was mainly point guard, and now Emily Keek has kind of taken over at point guard, allowing Allie to maybe shoot more threes or that sort of thing. So for you, what's your decision now that Emily has started more games and has played more minutes this year?
Well, I think Emily was the same kind of player a year ago, but her decision making has improved dramatically. Also, another thing that's improved with her game tremendously over the last year is she's finishing a lot better now than she did a year ago. She had no problem getting into the lane last year, but she didn't finish as well. She didn't get to the free throw line as much, and sometimes she made the wrong decisions. So she was kind of inconsistent and all over the place. She'd have great moments, and then it's like, what are you doing moments? And and so she's. We know now a whole lot more what we're going to get, and her speed is a big factor against teams that want to try to pressure you, and also late clock situations, with the shot clock or end of a quarter, we can do a lot with her speed. Her handles are better now than they were a year ago also, but all of that combined, she's turned into a game changer with regards to how people want to defend us, and she's making people around her better because she can set them up. But at the same time, if they don't leave people to give help on her, now she can finish and get to the free throw line, and so it's kind of a pick your poison type of situation for our opponents.
All right, I got to ask you about a quote that was attributed to you from Allie Pickering in a newspaper article about your speed, saying, "The ball wouldn't bounce as fast as I was running." Can you kind of explain that a little bit?
Yeah, so I think there was like maybe 6 seconds left on the clock before the half, and I got an outlet pass from Taylor, and I was just trying to go as fast as I could to the hoop, but I could not keep up with my dribble. Like, it was behind me as I was trying to sprint to the hoop, but oh, that was tough.
All right, and then what do you have to do this weekend to be successful?
Like Coach was saying, they're the best man defensive teams in the league, so we really have to trust our offense going into it, and we have to lock up on defense too, because they're high-scoring teams on the boards, and the boards too, especially. We have to win that battle. So.
All right. Well, thank you for being here today, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
We're going to take a break here on Warriors Fast Break. When we come back, we'll talk men's basketball with head coach Todd Eisner. That's right after this.
What's a Southern girl? It's waking up before the sun rises. It's loving the simple things in life, like the dirt roads that lead you home. It's working hard to get what you want. It's hanging your own stands, breaking your own ground, and strategizing every little move for that one moment when everything you've worked for is standing right in front of you. Even if I fail a million times, I keep pushing myself till I'm exhausted, filthy, and about to give up. And that's when the adrenaline hits.
How much bandwidth will satisfy your home's hunger? The average household now uses 7 wireless devices a day, including TVs, laptops, tablets, and smartphones. HD streaming and gaming can use large amounts of data and slow down speeds for other users. The more devices you use, the more bandwidth your home needs. So make sure you have enough bandwidth. Get up to 1 gig, that's 1,000 megs, with internet from HBC. It's the speed you need to power all your devices. Call today.
And welcome back to Warriors Fast Break here on HBC TV 25. We're going to switch to men's basketball. Head coach Todd Eisner now joins us. And successful weekend. You get the weekend sweep at home. I know that heading into the weekend, you were kind of concerned about stopping the top stars from Southwest and from Sioux Falls. And they got their points, but nobody else did, and so you were able to get wins.
Yeah, I think both games were a little bit different in that obviously against Southwest on Friday night, Brueggemann started out so hot and had their first 14 points, and that's what he's been doing, and that's what he's capable of doing. He's really taken over a scoring role on their team this year because it's needed for them. Yeah. And so we just tried to get a little different look at him after he scored the first 14. We put Delonte in. I thought Delonte did a nice job to kind of just change his vision a little bit as to who was guarding him, and then we did a nice job on really the rest of the team. And so we finished with 29, but when you do a good job on the rest of the team, and then we were pretty efficient offensively, it led to a good start to the weekend.
Yeah, it was 22 in the first half and then 7 in the second half. And one of the things that we noticed, you put Caleb Wagner on him at first, and then he just kind of looked over to the bench, what can I do? And then you made the switch. When did you think, oh, we need to switch out here?
Well, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but when you score 14 straight points, you probably need to do something different. Right. And and Delonte's got length and some athleticism, and so we just thought that we just tried a different approach on him, and we didn't change up the way we defended him. We just tried to put different people on him, and after the first 5 minutes, we just tried to go with a different look, and Delonte did a nice job of bothering some of his shots and got him out of his rhythm a little bit there for the rest of the half, and then we did a nice job on him overall in the second half.
And then again, Kevion Taylor had a great game. He's 5 out of the last 6 games. He's scored 20-plus points. You got to be happy with the production you're getting out of him.
Yeah, he's playing really well. He's playing really well at both ends of the floor. He's rebounding for us. I think defensively, he has a chance to be one of the better defenders in the league. He's rolling through a stretch right now of playing against some of the better power forwards or 4-man in the league, and he had Giebert on Saturday night, and now this weekend he'll have Sean Smith on Saturday, and he'll have Meyer from Duluth on Friday night, and both of them are playing at a really high level. So we're going to need Kevion to be good again this weekend, but he's been really good here over the last 3 weekends. And
besides Kevion, I mean, you had a pretty balanced scoring. You had 5 guys that scored in double digits or more, which obviously is good if all you had was Brueggemann on Southwest, and that's kind of generalizing, but you were able to spread out the scoring and get more people involved and eventually come away with the win.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good night for us. I mean, anytime you can score 80-plus points, I think we're doing some good things on the offensive end of the floor. We shot the ball really well from the arc and finished at the rim. And so it was a good combination of scoring and good balance, which makes us difficult to play against. So Friday night was really good, and it led into a big Saturday night for us against Sioux Falls.
Yeah, that's kind of an understatement. Big Saturday night, 17 three-point shots were hit in that game. Just amazing to be able to shoot that from 3-point range. Was that something that maybe you saw in the scouting, that maybe Sioux Falls was susceptible to shooting 3-pointers?
Yeah, not so much. I think they're really pretty good. It was just a night where we felt like the only way we were going to have a chance to be successful was to shoot the ball well at the arc. We were 8 for 28 on 2-point field goals. They had 9 block shots. So a lot of times when we got the ball near the rim, whether it was Giebert, whether it was Tessie Paul, they had some guys that really bothered us at the rim. And so our efficiency in close wasn't very good. And so our chances of winning the game came from our ability to knock down shots at the arc. And thankfully that was a night where things went really well for us there.
Yeah, now you were able to kind of shut down Trayvon Evans, but Giebert did get his points and some other players did as well. Talk about how the defense played in that game.
Well, I thought overall good. Obviously anytime you can hold Evans to, I think it was 5 for 17. Caleb, Delonte, guys that were on him did a really nice job on him. He's an explosive scorer, and he's more than capable of getting 40 on any night. Giebert's been a thorn in our side really for the last 3 years. He's just a different type of 4-man in that he's really long at 6'9", really skilled, can knock down threes, can post up, can drive it a little bit. And so that was almost a trade with Kevion and Giebert's production. And then Chase Grindy had a really good night for him. And, that's a little bit of the trade, almost like the Crookston game where we did a nice job on Harrison Cleary, and then Knickerbocker turned around and got 30 on us. And so sometimes you have to pick your poison a little bit. But overall, we need to do a better job on some of the auxiliary pieces for teams that have a couple of big scores, and then still do a good job on the guys that can hurt us.
All right, let's talk health-wise. I think we got fingers crossed that the HBC curse might be over. Talk about how you are heading into this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, we're keeping our fingers crossed that guys are getting better. We've got a couple of minutes out of Alec Rosner. He's not 100%, and we didn't think we were going to have him last weekend, but he was able to get through a workout actually just on the afternoon of the game on Friday. And so Kelsey did clear him to play, and I could tell he wasn't as mobile as he typically is. He's a really good on-ball defender, and he had some trouble moving laterally, but knocked down a big 3 for us in the first half on Saturday night, and hopefully day by day he can continue to get better. And so for the most part, that's the only one that we're really dealing with that's noticeable. And then at this time of the year, everybody's got banged up in some way, shape, or form, and we just got to try to get through. Chuck Coons being the biggest one, is that we just want to try to get through the season, hopefully minimize it, how much we use him during practice each week, and get him to play Fridays and Saturdays.
Well, we saw him when we were there for the alumni game, and in the walking boot. Is that kind of the thing for him, that when he's not on the court, he's in that walking boot again?
Yeah, he should probably be in 2 walking boots. I mean, it's the ankle that's actually bothering him the most is the one that he didn't injure that caused him to sit out 3 weeks here around Christmas. It's the ankle that's bothering him now is the one that he had surgery on this past spring. He didn't really tweak it much. It's just kind of a wear and tear thing that it's kind of blowing back up on him with activity. So we basically got to massage, both ankles and try to keep him off his feet as much as possible. And that's what the boot's for, is just to kind of take some of that pressure off of that ankle for that particular day, and put him in a position hopefully where he can play Fridays and Saturdays.
All right, a couple of questions here at the end of the segment. As we mentioned, it was alumni weekend, so you had past players come back. What does that do for the team to be able to see these guys come back and play a little bit on the floor?
Yeah, I mean, there's such a great history at Winona State with the men's basketball program. Obviously, you had the stretch from 2006 through 2008. But even around that, before that, and after that, there's a lot of guys that have a tremendous amount of pride in Winona State basketball that want to come back, and it's slowly building each and every year. We went from having 2 guys come back my first year to now I think we had 18 back this weekend, and so it was great to see them. It was fun to see some of those guys that can still play a little bit out on the court, but I didn't need to see any more than 40 minutes of it. But it was a good way to end. Obviously, Riley hit the big 3 to tie it with short amount of time left, and then Josh hit the half-court shot. Because there is a rule, there are no overtimes in alumni games. So I was glad Josh made sure that there wasn't going to be a tie in the alumni game.
Right, very good. Yeah, it was very entertaining to see that. Now this weekend, up to Duluth and St. Cloud. How do you feel about your team coming in, and what do you need to do to be successful this weekend?
Yeah, both teams playing really well. Duluth, certainly probably surprising a lot of people. New coach and Justin Wick, they're really playing hard. They've got, like I said, Brandon Meyer at the 4, who's playing really, really well as anybody in the league. And then Sean Burns is an undersized 5-man, built like a linebacker that's been really, really productive near the rim. So they're 8-6 in the league. They've swept St. Cloud, which is obviously their travel partner and rival. They just beat Northern State on Saturday night at home. So we'll have a very tough challenge, obviously, on Friday to start the weekend, and then go to St. Cloud on Saturday. And you got Gage Davis, hopefully finally going to be done after this year. I think he's the all-time NSIC scorer, 6'5", versatile wing that can do it all. And Sean Smith, a 6'8", jumping jack that blocks a ton of shots, can knock down shots, can drive it. So they're just really long, really athletic, really talented. If you remember the game here last year, obviously the big scoring output that Corey had versus Gage Davis. So we've got our hands full this weekend. We're going to have to play really well to win either of them. All
right, well, we're going to take a break here on Warriors Fast Break. When we come back, we'll talk with Delonte Payton. He'll be joining us right after this.
I'm Lance Garrick with Computers on the Go. I mainly support small businesses in the area with their IT. I've got clients that use multiple locations, and we connect them back using virtual private networks. I've always recommended HBC to my clients so that we can have safe, reliable service and not have any downtime. And in order for that to work, I have to have a reliable, secure, fast internet connection, and HBC's always provided that for me.
Contact HBC about our lightning fast home and business internet connections today.
Stay up to date with Winona Area Public Schools by watching Making the Grade here on HBC TV 25, presented by Cost Cutters. Join me, Superintendent Rich Dahman, each month for interviews with administrators, district staff, and students. Tune in to Making the Grade Monday through Friday here on HBC TV 25, brought to you by Cost Cutters of Winona, located in the professional building in the Winona Mall Annex.
And welcome back to Warriors Fast Break, now joined by Delonte Payton. Thanks for being here today. I want to go right off what Coach said about you going up against Ryan Brugum in Southwest Minnesota State. You know, you're starting to get some more minutes into the Warrior lineup, and now all of a sudden you have to guard one of the top players in the conference. What was that like for you this weekend?
It was definitely a challenge, but just knowing that I had 4 other players on the court to help me with it too. You know, they're all going to be in help side in their gaps, making it a little bit easier on me, and then obviously Coach and my teammates having the faith in me to, you know, put me on one of the best players in the league as well. Just, you know, makes me want to go out there and take on the challenge. So as Coach said, you kind of shut him down. What do you think led to your success against Bruggeman this week? Just really just going up against him and just kind of trying to contain him, keep him in front of me, knowing that he shoots a lot of fadeaways and knowing that he, you know, tries to draw a lot of contact, giving him a little space, but trying to keep him in front and not let him get too much space and shoot step backs, stuff like that. All right. Let's go backwards just a little bit since this is your first time on the show. We'll find out about you a little bit about before you came to Winona State. You're at St. Paul Academy, all-time leading scorer at St. Paul Academy, and you go over the 2,000 point mark in your career. Tell us about those games where you become the all-time leading scorer and then go over 2,000. What was that like? It was really exciting. It was a good time playing there. I played 5 years there, and it was an experience getting over 2,000. You know, I never really had it in my mind. I just wanted to kind of take every game by game, and you know, get each win, stack up on the wins. But then once I passed 2,000 points, it was just kind of a huge milestone for me, and it was the first time anyone in our school has done that before, so I was really, really proud of myself. Obviously, that's got to be a big thing to come out at you, to see somebody score 2,000 points in high school. Besides that, what else led you to get Delonte here to Winona State? Well,
you know, his athleticism and his length, I think, is something that stuck out to us initially. And we like multi-sport players, and Delonte played, I think, every sport that was offered at St. Paul Academy except for probably hockey. But, you know, football player, track athlete, obviously besides basketball. And so we knew we were getting somebody that we thought could adjust to the Division II level from an athleticism standpoint. And now he's put himself in a position from a skill standpoint to put himself in our rotation, and he's given us some very good minutes this year. All right, very good. One of the other maybe non-athletic moments from high school, I understand that you went to some mission trips in El Salvador. What was that like? That was really exciting. I took my first one in middle school, and I was kind of tentative about it. It was offered through our church, and the first time I did that, it was only for a week. We got to stay a little bit outside of the village where we sponsor kids to go to school there. And then ever since that first trip, I've gone back there 2 more times, actually. All right, and I understand through one of the profiles that I saw, you were trying to learn Spanish a little bit more, so you can talk to the people that are down there. How's that going with the Spanish? Are you pretty fluent in it yet? I'm decently fluent in it. I took a Spanish class this first semester, and that went pretty well, so I'm still trying to, you know, add on to my skills and hopefully make another mission trip back down there. Very good. And I understand that in the future you want to work with youth, is that correct? That is correct. And then you were involved in the youth camps that Winona State did, and I saw a dunk that she had that really energized the kids. Tell us what it was like to work with the youth and show off a little bit for them. It's always fun being at the camps, just being around the kids. I love working with kids, and I love the energy that they bring. And it was fun to have the dunk contest with all the campers around, and just to show them a little fun. All right, very good. So this weekend is Minnesota Duluth and St. Cloud. What do you have to do to be successful this weekend? Just continue to bring energy on defense as a team. We've been really good when shots are falling, but we have to be good when shots aren't falling as well. Just keep bringing energy on defense, and then just kind of stick together, not play like hero ball. But we've been doing pretty well. We just keep taking things day by day in practice and just trying to get better every day, and that's what keeps making the weekends better. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us, and good luck this weekend. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for joining us here on Warriors Fast Break. We'll see you next time here on TV 25.